Hey Homeworthy, my name's Caitlin. Welcome to my apartment in Los Feliz. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Burnham. I work in luxury residential real estate and I'm also a content creator. We're here in Los Feliz, California in my 1920s Art Deco apartment, which as my followers know it is called the CLB Chateau. It's a 1-bed, 1-bath and about 700 square feet. When I moved to Los Angeles about a year and a half ago, I knew that I wanted to find a space that really inspired me as I am constantly creating in my space. And I knew that I wanted a home that really depicted the architecture and history of LA. And that's really what drew me to this 1920s Art Deco apartment. And like I said, I named it the CLB Chateau because I was really inspired by the French details and architecture that are pulled in through the crown molding and the original fixtures and tile throughout the apartment. I would say the overall style of the apartment is definitely a mix of old and new. I've pulled in a lot of vintage pieces that I've found at local flea markets. The Rose Bowl flea market is one of my favorites. And then I've also pulled in a lot of new pieces. My coffee table, which I get a lot of questions about, is from Berber Imports, which is a local import wholesaler in Los Angeles. I've really filled the space with a lot of pieces that I've collected over the past year and a half. You'll see a lot of the ceramic pieces around the home are from a local ceramicist, Stephanie Don Matias, who I love and adore so much. Okay, so now we're in the living room, which is right when you walk in the front door. It's such an amazing space, truly. The light that shines in here throughout the day is incredible. I was really inspired by the French architecture in this space. You can see the crown molding on this fixture right here on this chandelier is incredible. So I really wanted to play off of that as kind of the main focus of the space. And then you have these two sconces on the walls as well that frame the couch. I really loved. The pokes of nature just kind of coming in through the space really gives it kind of an earthy vibe as well. But this is kind of the main moment. So I have my beloved couch from Restoration Harbor that is so cozy and comfy for movie nights. And then I have my coffee table from Berber Imports. The book styling on the table is from Maison Plage, which is a local book curator who does book stacks in your homes. And each book kind of plays into my personal style. So I have the iconic CBK book, a book from Arc Digest, and just kind of played with that. And then I have my iconic CLB Chateau matchbooks, which I love so much, and have those just kind of in a antique dish. The rug, I get so many questions on. The rug is from Rush House, and it's really cool because you can actually take off pieces of the squares to make it fit into your space. So I love that, and it again just kind of brings in those earthy tones into the space, which I was really going for. It was really important for me to mix modern with old pieces, so I have my modern with the couch and the coffee table, but then I brought in a piece that I thrifted from the Rose Bowl flea market. This chair always acts as another place for people to just sit and enjoy, and we have such great conversations and so much laughter in my living room. I've been really lucky at the Rose Bowl flea market. My biggest tips would definitely be to arrive early. You have to get there kind of at like 5 a.m. with the early crowd, and don't give up. You will find a piece when you least expect it, and just keep looking. When I moved from San Francisco to Los Angeles, I knew that I was gonna be stepping into kind of a bustling and overwhelming city, and I really just wanted to have a space that I felt the most common and the most like myself, and this living room is definitely where I find myself creating the most. I feel the most inspired in this room, and I just love it. My favorite room in my apartment would have to be the living room that we're sitting in now. Like I said, the light just shining in from these windows is incredible. You truly get natural light at every hour of the day, which is amazing, especially as a creator who's constantly creating in my space. The plaster molding and little details throughout the doorways and the fixture above me here is just also pretty incredible. That's the living room. Now let me take you into the kitchen. Follow me. The kitchen is really special. I definitely wanted to play into the original features in the kitchen. So you have the detail on the floor, this wooden little cabinet that I keep a lot of little trinkets in and books. Again, I have some styling from Maison Plage here. And then I have some plates. I love collecting little plates, so I have these from Elsie Green. And then these little salt and pepper shakers from McConnell Design, another Bay Area company. And then we have my little matchbooks again. I work with a local florist on all of my arrangements. So this is from Kelly Ross. She does such an amazing job. We went with spring florals to lean into the springtime right now. Another favorite in my kitchen has to be the blue tile. I get so many compliments about this tile. So I really wanted to play into this. And again, a goal with my space is always to just let it speak for itself. So I didn't really want to over-clutter my countertops too much, but I just played in with a few more little ceramic plates. This one has a cute little lamb on it. Again, more pieces that I've kind of just collected through finding vintage finds. I went to France last summer and was so inspired by all of the interiors and the French flea markets. So I have a lot of little pieces that I've started to collect since I've been back to kind of just bring that inspiration back into my home. And there's a lot of little hidden original features in the home. So we have an ironing board here that I don't really use, but it's still really cool to show. And then back here in the kitchen, or back here near the sink, we also have a cutting board that I do use and cut up all of my fresh produce from the farmer's market on here. And then I always have my farmer's market tote sitting here. In my life, farmer's markets on Sundays are a non-negotiable. I'm always heading there. And then I was lucky enough that the previous tenant had this piece in her home, and when I toured, she was so sweet to lend it down to me. And again, just sticking with those pieces that really lean into the architectural style and not over cluttering the home, but really meant a lot to me. So that's the kitchen. Let's move on to the bathroom. Come with me. Before I take you into the bedroom, I want to quickly show you the bathroom. This space is so sweet. The pink tile really drew me to the bathroom, and I quickly became just so obsessed with it. This home has been lived in for a long time, and it really shows with the original features like this pink tile, and then you have these gorgeous original fixtures, the sink. It's really so special. So now let's go into the bedroom. I think my biggest design tip would definitely be less is more, especially in this space, it being a 1920s Art Deco apartment where the architecture really speaks for itself. I wanted to kind of match that style with the pieces that I was bringing in, and that definitely didn't happen overnight. It took me a year and a half to really curate this space, but at the end of the day, I just wanted it to be a reflection of me and to really just let it speak for itself because it's so special. So in my bedroom, this is one of my favorite spaces to create in. You might see a lot of my outfit of the day videos happening right here in this corner. This dresser was $25 from a local flea market in Los Angeles, and it is my prized possession. This is kind of my getting ready area. It's where I keep all of my favorite makeup products. I'm such a Say Beauty fan. This was a really special find of mine. I actually got it pretty quickly into my move into this apartment. It's a man on a horse, and I just was immediately drawn to it, and it kind of spoke to me, and then it really just framed this space again with the original fixture here, and I just love this moment that I've kind of created here. And then we have My bed, this is a CB2 bed frame. It's the coziest bed. All of my linens are from Nikki Kehoe, and it's truly like my favorite thing to just jump in at night. This was another vintage find, and I just paired it with a book from Maison Plage, my matchbooks, and a diptyque candle. Again, really just less is more in my bedroom. I feel like that is what makes me feel the calmest in this space. And just keeping it not really too cluttered. This print that's now sitting on the ground and honestly never made it up onto the walls, but I don't know if you've noticed, I don't really like to keep anything on the walls because I really, again, just like the space to speak for itself. But a homage to my home city, San Francisco. And then here, my end table is from CB2, and then a little Jenny Kane light and some books again on top. I've played around with a few different linen styles on my bed. I went more colorful at one point, and then I've kind of landed on this mix of neutral tones with a pattern and some stripes. And again, I feel like in my space at night, I just want to feel the most calm, and this colorway and combination of patterns and colors definitely just speaks to that, and bringing in the earth tones again of the trees outside and the green, and it's just where I feel the most calm. One thing that I talk a lot about in my content is creating uniforms within your wardrobe. So I call them my CLB uniforms, which again stands for my full name, Caitlin Burnham. But it's really all about finding those pieces in your wardrobe that you can lean on constantly. So I'm typically wearing a white tee, a pair of Levi's, and a pair of ballet flats. And then you're just mixing that up with adding in that black blazer, that dress, the black tee, and it all just ends up creating those uniforms in your wardrobe, and you really end up feeling like you have more than you even do. If you're interested in fashion and lifestyle content from me, make sure to follow me on Instagram at Caitlin Burnham and Visions by CLB on Substack. To me, home is a space that welcomes creativity and love, and at the end of the day, it's just a reflection of me and the people in my life that I love the most and get to welcome into my home and spend time with. All right, Homeworthy, thanks for visiting. I gotta go film an outfit video, but I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.